My oh my, there is nothing like a hot Baltimore wrestling crowd. I'm John Redden with my review of AEW Dynamite from, yes, Baltimore, Maryland, a city rich in wrestling tradition. Just going back to the 80s, you can go back further if you want, but let's just focus on the 80s because it's the 80s. Do a lot of coke and vote for Ronald Reagan. Don't do drugs, kiddos, don't. You don't want to do them, they're really bad. Does anybody get that goddamn reference? Let me know in the comments. But in all seriousness, Jim Crockett Promotions had a foothold in cities, up the northeast coast, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. Baltimore was a big city for them. In fact, they drew a lot of big gates. They had some really, really hot live event crowds. And then when Ted Turner took over the company, even with the mismanagement, entities that, basically decided to pretty much tank that fucking company, they still had a few pay-per-views, Great American Bash pay-per-views in Baltimore. 1989, where Terry Funk took on Ric Flair. Sting taking on Ric Flair in the following year. And then in 1991, we won Flair because Jim Herd was a fucking idiot. But let's flash forward to 2022, the year of our Lord and Savior, Saturn Space Lizard Jesus. Why the fuck not at this point? There were some good moments on this show. There were also some moments I didn't like, and they sent that main event out to fucking die. So let's get to it. The crowd is up already. And they start off with, tell us about that boom, Adam Cole, baby. Comes out to do commentary because Bobby Fish is out there. The man who, when he was in school, didn't have a history. The social security number is 1. He had his first match back in 1907. And that was in his new gimmick or whatever. He actually really remembers World War I. He really remembers the Civil War. He really remembers when the Redcoats were coming. What I'm trying to say is Bobby Fish is old. Let's continue the jokes. So, Jeff gets a huge pop, and then we get delete. That thing that was fun for about 6 months, and they've still tried to make it happen. Jeff Hardy with Matt, taking on Bobby, Primordial Fish with O'Reilly. And, okay, it's an Owen Hart qualifier. Alright, the crowd was really up for Jeff. Fish focused on the knee and did some good Fish can work. And that's really it. Fish can work. He's not very interesting. Otherwise, Rampage, by the way, will be on at 2:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Adjust your cocks accordingly. Since I'm on the West Coast, that's why I say it will be 5:30 Eastern, 4:30 Central, and 3:30 Mountain Time. What will be in Hawaii? I have no goddamn idea. 2 hours before, have no fucking clue. Jeff, it looks like he hurts every time he fucking moves. And I know that he's beat his body up. But Fish targeted the knee, Darby and Sting were in the rafters. Avalanche, Falcon Arrow for no goddamn reason. We get a leg lock. That was a nice series, but then Jeff eventually hits a swanton just flush. I'm going to start calling it the swanton flush because he just hit Fish flush. And that's all right. He got the victory. Fine, Jeff Hardy was going to win, but he's got to come up with something different. Do something because that swanton, he's going to hurt himself more and he's going to hurt somebody else. Then the Bucks show up. We're going to get a match of Double or Nothing, which pretty much guarantees Jeff Hardy's going to lose his first round match, which is fine. You might as well capitalize on having the Bucks have a match with the Hardys and get some Hardy Dream matches out of the way because they've already kind of butchered this whole thing of them reuniting, even though they got a big pop and Jeff did the whole dance thing. And then he went down to save his brother. It's good siblings right there. So anyway, Bucks versus Hardys, fine, cool. I mean, I don't really have any interest, but it'll be something that'll get the crowd up. And we get a package on the Blackpool Combat Club. Regal talking about scars and knives, not stabbing, but cutting down somebody's face and everything. I saw this whole thing when they showed on Twitter. They showed clips of it. Regal is a great boost for AEW. He's a great boost for NXT. He's going to be great here. It's a fresh coat of paint. He gets to do what he wants to do, be an on-screen character, do some commentary. Huge pop for Brian. Wheeler was also here, got a pretty good pop. Wild Thing, you make Baltimore sing. So Regal joins commentary. He's really having a goddamn blast. So it's Blackpool Combat Club against the Butcher, Blade, and Angelico, who is still there. I am shocked that Angelico is still there. Nothing against him. I just figured when they got rid of Jack Evans, they were probably going to get rid of Angelico, but whatever. The heels jumpstart. The crowd was into it. Wheeler got targeted. Moxley got the hot tag. He tosses Blade around the table, because why the fuck wouldn't you at this point? I do want to quickly mention, by the way, Blade had made a post a number of months ago about needing to get his mental health in order. Basically, I guess would be the best word to go about it. And he apparently has. He's still working on it. His wife, Allie, a.k.a. the Bunny, apparently also needs to... I put out some tweets saying she needs to do that, so I wish them both nothing but the best. Back to the match. Quickly, though, if you do need help, if you do need somebody to talk to, find me on Twitter. DMs are open. There you go. There are people out there that will help you. So we get the triple submission and the triangle for the win, while Brian just does a double bicep pose, which... Brian was a really, really goddamn hot heel right after Full Gear. I wish they would have gone on with that longer. But he is having a whole lot of fun here. And it was what it was. Schiavone, by the way, was all over the fucking show here. And I'm not complaining. I like Tony Schiavone. But he was in the back. He was doing this. They had to have pre-taped some of this stuff because otherwise he was getting in his fucking cardio. Schiavone interviews Starks and Hobbs. And then Jungle Boy, OEO, shows up. Jurassic Express. That's what he said. Jungle Boy wants an FTW title shot. But we will give you a tag title shot as well. So I guess the tag title shot's going to be a double or nothing. So then, Schiavone is there with Lee and Swerve. Again, they must have pre-taped a whole bunch of this stuff. They have unfinished business with Team Taz. You all swerve in our glory. Okay, that was fine. Wardlow comes out, just massive Wardlow chants. No security, handcuff, no music, anything. Just massive Wardlow chants. This is organically over. MJF shows up to booze. Spears shows up to indifference, such as the life of being Shawn Spears. He, rips into the crowd, calls it a shithole. And then William Morrissey. It's the big ass. Big Cass, by the way, in case you're wondering. Okay. I'm glad that he seems to be doing better. I saw a little bit of his stuff in Impact since he got better. DDP yoga, got clean from alcohol and drugs and stuff like that. That's great. Now, if he can get rid of the actual parasitic brainworm and the big problem of being a Trumper, then he will be right as rain. Well, at least he'll fit right in with Jericho and Hager. So, that being said, though, he looks great. And then Wardlow took him on, how you doing? For a crowd that claims they hate everything that WWE does, they tend to use a lot of the catchphrases. And I'd say the same damn thing, about a lot of fans. There are fans that do cross over, by the way, but it's the narrative. We want Enzo. No, we don't. To the people that were chanting, we want Enzo, I don't care that he was fired because of a lie. That was bullshit. He shouldn't have been fired because of that. He should have been fired because he wasn't fucking valuable to the company anymore. He wasn't good as a Cruiserweight champion. He was a terrible worker. He was great on the mic, but the shtick had worn thin. And he shouldn't be in wrestling anymore. Like, why? It was very, very one-note stuff. And now, don't get me wrong. For a while it worked. But it was very one-note. Wardlow chants. At first, Morrissey did fine. I'm just thinking of the band Morrissey Wrestling now. And if anybody gets that reference, god damn, you are just crazy like I am. He did fine at first. He did a cool leapfrog, but then he got washed. And the cardio, really faded quickly. He did hit a nice sidewalk slam, but then he seemed off. I don't know what the fuck it was. Wardlow does a fucking moonsault. I don't know what the exchange is supposed to be. The fact that Wardlow didn't snap his leg and nobody got hurt was great. He's a freak athlete. He did that, basically rolled and landed on his feet, then hit one powerbomb. All it took was one. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he probably could have hit more, but he just did one. And then Wardlow just straight up destroys Indie Security Wrestling Inc. Just destroys them. I mean, everybody. I don't know who these guys were. Just destroys them. Beats them up. Boom, boom, boom. That's it. There were a couple that hit the ropes in a bad way where I'm like, okay, guys, easy there. Then he awesome bombs one to the outside. One that had a huge afro, so he was afrodynamic, as it were. And he says, Max, I'm not going to stop until you give me a match and you release me from my contract. MJF says, oh, you want a match? You guys want a match? Well, fine. We're going to get it at the pay-per-view, but it's going to be a contract signing and I have some conditions. Okay, we're going to get that next week in Long Island. Ooh, MJF's hometown. They're building this right. Don't fuck it up at the pay-per-view. Don't fuck it up. Have a numbers game where MJF wins and Wardlow can eventually get released from his contract later if you want. But don't have MJF just beat him straight up. Do not do that. Don't mess this up. They have really done a good job building this. So, Schiavone is with Tony, Ruby, Britt, and Jamie. It's hyped for a tag match on Rampage. Jamie and Tony, my goodness. My fucking goodness. Schiavone's in the ring. My God, he's all over the place. So here's Hangman. Hangman was more fired up. If they had actually done this with Hangman from the time he had been pursuing that, that chance to get a shot at Omega, it would have worked. Hangman's a very good worker. A very good worker. He's had very good matches during this reign. The 2 matches with Bryan have been fucking incredible. He's had other good matches. Yes, the Texas Death Match, I didn't really care for. But Hangman can work. He hasn't felt like a world champion. That's not his fault. It's the booking. It's the way they formatted this whole thing. But he was motivated. He was more serious. It's like, I'm gonna be real here. It's not gonna be a masturbatory Bret Hart tribute match. A Double or Nothing. I'm going to destroy CM Punk. Points at a fan. Says, you will be begging for a refund after you see what I do to CM Punk. He is upset. He's probably off filming a TV show. You want to fight? Well, it'll be the fight of your life. There you go. There you go. This is the fucking Adam Hangman Page we've needed. This is what we've needed. It only took him only 6 months into the goddamn reign to get it right. But, that's not true. That's unfair, because Hangman at times has been serious. He did do that one old thing where he went to Cole, look at me when I'm talking to you, boy. That's good. This is the kind of stuff when you fire up, you get this, this works. So, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do here. And that Takahita, however the hell you pronounce his goddamn name, type it out in the comments how I'm supposed to fucking pronounce it. Takshita, I think. Takshita. Whatever. The guy that was, I guess, from DDT Pro, which explains why I haven't fucking heard of him, because anytime I see anything good from DDT Pro, I'm like, oh, let me see a full match. Oh, right, they do the comedy bullshit as well. But, that being said, I'll give him a chance. He debuts on Rampage. Well, he returns, and he's going to be on Rampage. And we cut to Lethal, Dutt, and Giant Silva Jr., and Lethal's going to take this guy on. John Harbaugh's in the front row, by the way. He was Brian Pillman Sr.'s, that feels so old for me to say, his roommate. Santana gets a pop, and he jumps Jericho. It's 5-on-2, by the way, because Eddie got his face burned. So it's, it's Santana versus Jericho with the jazz holes at ringside, and just, god damn it. Oh, god damn it. Santana was motivated and did some stuff. Jericho physically just looked shot. He hit one good drop kick in the corner. That's good. And then after that, he couldn't hit anything else. He was wiped out. We get Eddie chance for the Three Amigos. We get a cutter by Santana. We get interference and distractions, a low blow. Judas Effect, 1, 2, 3. And then, did they call him the Wizard, Chris Jericho? Was that a grand nickname for him? If you know, you know. I actually didn't quite hear. I couldn't quite tell with the audio. What did they actually say was his nickname now? So yeah, we get a beatdown. Again, shocking. They have to bring 2 other people in. You have to do some kind of street fight. They're probably going to do another stadium stampede at Double or Nothing, despite the fact they have a full crowd back again. But whatever. Joe promo. Is Lethal a brave man? Well, he's coming for him. Lol. Brief piece from Khan about Asian Pacific Islander Awareness Month. I hope I got that right. If I got that wrong, I apologize. Gun Club got the Acclaimed gifts. Scissors, because everybody loves to scissor with the Acclaimed. Arn Anderson was scared by all these scissors, thinking the Sid was right around the corner. Alright, Varsity Blondes are in the ring, and Julia has more dark makeup coming out from her eye patch, because I think I had a birthday, or 2, during the time that after she got sprayed, and we've done this. I don't mind slow building. Here's the problem. There's slow building, and then there's, oh, we just fucking forgot that this was happening. I stand here humbled after our encounter with the House of Black many months ago. Maybe you need to figure out how to be less humbled by something that happened that most people pretty much forgot about, except the diehards. Mentions Harbaugh and his dad. This was not good at all. Julia just stands there. Pillman Jr. has lost a lot of goodwill because of a lot of stupid tweets, and also just the fact that he generally seems like he doesn't quite have a good head on his shoulders outside of wrestling. But the House of Black shows up. He tried here. Griff just stood there. Julia just stood there. The lights out for like 20 years. The entrance is cool, and that's it. There's a standoff. The crowd did not care. Once once the beatdown started happening, the crowd, it's like the switch got hit. And then they surround Julia Hart, and we get 3 leather-clad emo men surrounding one dirty blonde cheerleader in Baltimore. News at 10. I've also seen this movie before, but they hand him a chair, a black chair. 3 leather-clad emo people have a dirty blonde grip a black object and swing it at some other man. News at 12. I might as well just get all my jokes out of here with this. So she won't hit Griff because Brian Pillman was outside, but she will hit Brian. That's where it is, because she blames Brian for what happened, but not Griff, because Griff's so innocent. This took forever when it did not need, I'm not saying they need to rush it, but they did not need to make it as long as they did. This cut into the women's match, which I'll get to that. So, yeah, the eye patch got ripped off, by the way. Death Triangle apparently were parking their cars in the garage and finally made the save. And then Jade and the Baddies section are backstage. And then the next match, Phoenix and Dante Martin took on each other in an Owen Hart qualifier. And the crowd seemed, it took them a bit to get into it. Flippy shit, a lot of flippy shit. Phoenix is very spectacular when he hits the offense. When he doesn't, it's actually kind of scary. But Dante can hit some great stuff. He's got amazing springs in his legs. As long as he does not have any serious injuries, he'll be great. They did a lot of cool stuff. It also blended together as very high-impact offense. But then they just did a flip. It's like they were trying to do another backflip thing, like a higher Russian leg sweep, reverse C4 or something, I don't know. And they just landed, and Dante just looked at him like, hi, and then did a Poison Rana, and that took me out of the match. If you're just going to do tumbling act, gymnastic stuff, and you do it that obvious, that I don't care. That's impressive they can do that. Doesn't belong in a wrestling match, but whatever. I don't know why they do the Poison Rana. And a Spike Driver 1, 2, 3. Phoenix advances into the tournament. Big shock. I hope Dante Martin actually gets, featured a little bit more. He's going to take time. And Darius, I hope Darius can come back at some point. But if Dante's going to be on his own for a bit, give him somebody that he can work with. Veterans that can help him around and teach him some timing. He can be something. We hear from Darby about facing Jeff, and Sting chimes in. We're going to get Jeff versus Sting at some point. Victory Road Redemption. Here's Thunder Rosa. She has a story to tell. Successes and failures. She talks about coming in with a heavy weight and helped, elevate the women's division. A women's division that some still criticize. I don't know if that was a shot at Becky or if that was a shot at the fans. And to be fair, there are quite a few fans that snipe at the women's division. I snipe more at the booking than anything else. She wants to face the best, so she calls out Serena Deeb. And then Grandma Serena Skrull shows up. I'm going to keep calling her Serena Skrull until she gets rid of Marty Skrull. And if she doesn't, I'm going to keep hammering her for it. But, I mean, I guess he's got to stay married to her because she can legally go to near schools and he can't. They will have a match at Double or Nothing, basically. I love Thunder Rosa. She's so well-spoken. I really hope they start doing stuff with her, with her reign. Because she can mean something. She is fucking tremendous. Not just for women's wrestling, for wrestling in general. She's fucking great. She's so well-spoken. And Serena can work. She's just married to a goddamn creep or dating a creep. But Thunder Rosa's great. This match, from a technical standpoint, will be great. Rampage. Jamie and Britt, Tony and Ruby. That guy, that Taka guy, Takahita, whatever, versus Lethal. Hook versus JD Drake. That ought to be pretty good. Rio versus Yuka in an Owen qualifier. And Dynamite. Jeff versus Darby. Cole versus Dax in tournament matches. Contract signing with Wardlow and MJF. Punk versus Silver. FTW titles. Starks versus Jungle Boy. And 12 minutes left. The entrances start. Mercedes Martinez versus Deonna Purrazzo. Unification match for the ROH Women's Championship because Deonna beat Roxy before she went to do bullshit comedy with Wendy Choo Choo in NXT. And Mercedes beat Willow Nightingale to be the interim champion. And also Deonna works in Impact. They barely did video they did video packages either on Rampage or Dynamite last week and didn't do much of anything to hype this. And I'm talking on the program. They could have done something on their YouTube channel and half the audience would have seen it. They didn't give a reason to care about Mercedes. I don't think Mercedes has been on any of their, either of their featured programs in 8 weeks. I'm trying to remember the last match that Mercedes did that was on an AEW program. Yeah, she was on Supercard of Honor in the match against Willow Nightingale. Deonna Purrazzo, she can work. Both these women can work. Nobody was given a reason to care, and the crowd died. Nobody cared. And Mercedes won. This was agonizing to get through. I'm glad the women main evented. Fucking tremendous. They didn't put any effort in, and I'm not talking about the women, I'm talking about the company. They didn't put in any effort where, oh yeah, this is going to be the main event. Here's why Deonna's great. Here's why Mercedes is great. Here's why you should care about this women's championship. They didn't do any of that. So the crowd had every right to basically shit on it. Maybe not shit on the performance, but not give a shit about the goddamn match. So anybody that wants to complain about the crowd, oh, they don't like women's wrestling. No, they don't like wrestling they aren't given a reason to care about. And that's what the deal was. Mercedes won and life goes on, but I'm done. This was frustrating. This was a frustrating end to the show because these two women could have killed it and technically did some good stuff. But again, they weren't given a reason to care because there was no hype. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.